Hello, welcome back to some History Maker Golf. As you may know, I picked this game up about a week or so ago and have found myself addicted to it. So I thought this morning, a beautiful Saturday morning, that I would um, talk a little bit about what I'm doing and a little bit about my first impressions on History Maker Golf, and just kind of share a little bit. So I'm using the a 1958 set. Good morning, John West. Welcome. I'm using a 1958 set that I found online. One good thing about this game is that the user community is very strong, and so there's a lot of homemade seasons and courses. And when you get a game, that's always a great option to have, so that what you're not able to get from the company, you are able to get some extra things. So the company doesn't have any older seasons; they do have decades, which I did pick up the 1960s. And I also got the 2000s, which came with the game, and then I got the all-time greats. But my replaying preferences are typically seasons, especially in baseball, but even in golf. But this was created by David Gray, who actually, as I understand it, was instrumental in creating this set. So that gives you confidence that this is a pretty good representation of the 1958 season. So again, I've had the game maybe a week or so, and I've already played 3 tournaments. So again, it is kind of addicting. And so I'm loosely following the 1958 PGA Tour. If you go to Wikipedia, and it isn't the normal Wikipedia, it's Wiki 2, but they have all the tournaments for that year, and which is really cool. And they give you some information: who won the tournament. They give you the score of the final score of the winner, which is really helpful when you're creating tournaments in History Maker. Having that number is super helpful. And so again, I'm kind of recreating it. So back in that time, during the PGA, their season started in January. So basically, it was January through December, November, and they would start obviously in the warm places and then kind of work their way up north to the Masters in April. So they start in California with like the Los Angeles Open, the Bing Crosby, which was typically around Pebble Beach. Then they'd go to Arizona, Texas, sometimes Mexico, Louisiana, Florida, and then work their way up to North Carolina, again, working their way up to Georgia for the Masters in April. So far, again, kind of using the the courses that I have, which was what came with the game, what I'm able to find, by homemade courses, and then I got the collections 1, 2, and 3. Didn't have any particular reason I got those other than just it's easier for me to remember what I have if I just buy them in order. And so eventually I will get there. I want to get all of their all of their courses eventually. Hey, ID, welcome, buddy. Glad to hear that things are going well from your digital to dice. So thinking and praying for you. So hope you continue to mend. So anyway, just talking about kind of my History Maker golf so far, and so again, kind of piecing together, kind of a tournament that's kind of like the 58 year. And so, like for example, the 60 set came with Thunderbird, which was a a course that they played, and there actually was a Thunderbird Invitational in 1958. Ken Venturi won that in real life, and he won it in my tournament, which was really cool. I thought, the odds of that are kind of slim. So when things like that happen in our hobby, it's a lot of fun. So, and that was actually the closest tournament I've had so far. Is Arnold Palmer and Bill Casper were tied for second, just one stroke behind Venturi. So it came right down to the end, and then you can see, everybody else was a little bit more distant away. And then I'll talk a little bit in a minute about how I'm doing my standings, keeping track. So trying to, keep some stats without making it so bogged down that it's no fun. So I'll talk about that in a minute. This particular tournament, Gary Player had to withdraw. I did look at the wrong chart. It was a special play chart, and it went from 1 to 2, and instead of going to 2, I actually went to 3, which was kind of a bummer because Gary Player is one of my favorite players, and so he, withdrew. So I guess that's just the luck of the draw. Yeah, I think that's great. This is a great community, and I'm glad everybody is looking out for you. Again, you've been an integral part of our community, and I know we all appreciate your channel and what you've done. So I'm very glad to see everybody kind of rallying around you and giving you some support this time. Things like that are hard for sure. So anyway, that was the first tournament. And so that was kind of cool that Venturi won when in real life he really did win. And so my second tournament was the Bing Crosby, which I did at Spyglass at Pebble Beach, which was usually when they did the Bing Crosby, they would use different courses, around Pebble Beach. Spyglass was one, and I can't remember the other ones. So I just did Spyglass. Ken Venturi ended up winning again. So he won 2, which was really kind of cool because, like before the Masters tournament, which was the first major in 1958, Venturi actually won 3 tournaments. He won the Thunderbird, he won the Phoenix Open, and he won the Baton Rouge Open. So that was kind of cool because he's somewhat replicating what he did in real life. And so, again, I'm not doing every tournament. I probably end up with 10 or 12 for the season, kind of what I'm aiming for. And so that was tournament number 2. Again, Venturi won that one by 3. Christy O'Connor, who actually in 1958 only played in the British Open, but in my 58 season, I'm using everybody. So, for example, Ben Hogan and Sam Snead were kind of the middle end of their careers, and so they didn't play a whole lot. One really cool thing, and if I ramble on, forgive me, but this set, David Gray, the guy who made this, actually has a tour rating. So like F means Pete Cooper didn't play in very many tournaments. Dal Fitzgerald has an A, so he played in a lot. So if you wanted to recreate kind of how they did the tournaments, you can actually do that with that rating. So like, for example, again, see if I can find one of my guys. Yeah, ID, that's great. When things like that happen in this hobby, those are the kind of things that keep me doing it. When those unusual things happen, those are a lot of fun. At least for me, they are. So anyway, I'm trying. There's Sam Snead. So again, he was an icon toward the end of his career, getting toward the end. I mean, he played quite a few more years, but his heyday was, in the 50s and early 50s, late 40s. So he's a D. So again, he played the majors. The same could be said of, I can't remember his name now. Hogan. Ben Hogan was the same way. He didn't play in too many, he had an F, so he played in fewer tournaments than Sam Snead did. However, in my 1958 universe, everybody is playing every tournament. So again, Christy O'Connor, who was from Ireland, I believe, only played in the British Open, and a lot of these guys didn't play in the British Open because it wasn't really in vogue then. Arnold Palmer was actually one of the Americans who started taking it seriously, and of course we see where it is today. So, but for me, everybody's playing in every tournament. So that's just kind of what I'm doing. However, that's really cool that they have that ability. If you want to be more realistic, historically realistic, you've got those ratings to let you know, okay, maybe this person's not going to play in too many tournaments. So, anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing. So my third tournament was the San Diego Open. They didn't have a San Diego Open in 1958. They did have one, I think, in 60. And so I did have Torrey Pines South, which is in San Diego, so that was the course I used. This one was a blowout. Arnold Palmer, the most anticlimactic tournament I've had so far. He ended up 13 under par, and DaVincenzo, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, ended up at a -7. So Arnold won that by 6 strokes. So, Arnold Palmer's my favorite golfer, and as much as I was glad he won the tournament, I was disappointed, actually, that it wasn't more competitive, in the end. So, let's see. ID has a question. Do you buy the season cards, or do you just get random player cards, or do you have to order them specifically? For History Maker, they actually have some newer seasons. Anything older, they just have the decades. And but there's some user-created seasons, 58. And again, this is David Gray is the guy who makes these. And he is the one that actually helped them create this. So he, the one the company sells, he actually made this individual season, which makes me feel like that would, that you're getting a good representation of what actually happened, that he knows what he's doing, and that he's creating some realistic cards. And History Maker, it's a little bit open-ended, so, it's not like ASG or APBA Golf where it's very detailed and focused. This is a little bit more generic. So, the fact that he obviously knows his golf makes me feel confident that this is a good representation of 1958. He also did 62, and I think he did a couple 70 seasons. Play themselves, they've got, again, newer seasons like 2021 and things like that. But older ones, you just got like the 60s, 70s, that kind of thing. So they've got like Pioneer. And then again, they do have the all-time great set, which I did pick up. And it came with the 2000s. So again, those are decades. A little bit like ASG does. ASG does their older cards by decades as well. And but I like seasons, so I'm enjoying this 58 very, very much. So that was my third tournament. So for my fourth one, the 1958 tour kind of moved to Arizona. So the end of January, they had the Phoenix Open, and then the first week in February, they had the Tucson Open. So they had 2 tournaments. So the only course I could find in Arizona was a home-brewed one by Patrick Talbot. A really good place to check these kind of homebrew things out is on the Play Delphi forum. That's a wonderful resource where you can find these things, where these guys have created these. So this will be our fourth tournament. I'm going to call it the Arizona Open. I looked, and the golf club at Dove Mountain is a little closer to Tucson, but it's actually in between Phoenix and Tucson. So this is going to be my fourth tournament, and so it will be my Arizona one. So I'm just going to do the one in Arizona. And so that's the one that I'm getting ready to work on now. And then they moved to Texas for the Texas Open and the Houston Open. Now, I do have Colonial, but they actually had a tournament at Colonial on May the 4th. So I'm going to save Colonial for that. So I'll probably see if I can find another home-brewed Texas course to do a Texas Open. Then they did a couple tournaments in Louisiana, and I do have TPC. I believe it's TPC Louisiana. So I do have one in Louisiana, and then they did the Pensacola Open and the St. Petersburg Open in Florida, and I do have Doral in Florida, so I'll use that. And then they did the Azalea Open in North Carolina, then the Masters. So I do have Augusta. So I'll do try to find me a homemade Texas course. Then I'll do the Louisiana. Then I'll do the Doral in Florida, and then I might try to find a North Carolina course. If not, then we'll go right to the Masters, and then take it from there. So the big ones, the U.S. Open in 1958 was Southern Hills. So I probably will end up buying that. From Play Games, because they do have that one in one of their sets. The British Open, was at Royal Lytham in St. Anne's, which there is a homemade for that one. So I have that for the British Open. And then the PGA Championship was at Lenurch Country Club in Havertown, Pennsylvania. So I'm not for sure if I can find that one or not. However, I do have... I think Marion is in Indiana. I do have that, or not Indiana, Pennsylvania. So I do have that, I believe. So those are the majors. And then again, past that, we'll see. So again, just loosely trying to recreate 1958, the best that I can with what I have. So that's that. So I guess I will go ahead and maybe try to, do the first couple rounds of this tournament. Again, this is going to be at Dove Hill, or I think it was Dove Hill. The golf club at Dove Mountain this is a home brewed one and looks very nice. I kind of like this. This gives you a little bit more representation of the hole. Because you can kind of see, this is how the hole is laid out. So you got, rough here. You got sand traps in front of the green and a little bit to the left. There's your green. So, if you shoot long to the rough, your second shot. So you got some water here in front of the green on hole 3. So anyway, this is laid out a little bit different than the home brewed. They are in color, or a little bit different than the official play ones. But still, I think this will give you a good representation, and it'll give me an Arizona course. So Steve Tower did a really good video where he did from start to finish of a tournament. It's 3 hours long. So that is one thing about History Maker, is that it takes, when you get to the 4th round, which is where you start playing hole to hole, it can get a little lengthy. And so, you got to be prepared for that. It's going to take a couple hours, maybe, probably on the average of a couple hours to do, the final round. But it's exciting. And again, it's not nearly as detailed as ASG. For a round of golf, I prefer ASG because you can see the actual hole. And that's one thing about here is that you don't get the diagram that you do on ASG, and APBA is very similar to ASG. But again, you get somewhat of a feel of the hole. I know, for example, you can find course layouts for most of these courses, and so I'll have on my monitor screen, because I'm not using my computer, this is all on the table. Yeah, John West, I agree. Those, especially when you get to the final holes and you got a close one, it gets really exciting. So, and they do a good job, the players who go out of contention, once you're 6 strokes off the leader, you just do a single roll, and that does a good job of keeping the action going to where you're not getting bogged down, and players don't matter. And every once in a while, if a player gets lucky, they can, roll off a few birdies and get back into contention. So that's cool. But yeah, those especially when you get to the end there, those tournaments can get really exciting if you got a barn burner going. So anyway, we'll set up here and do our first couple rounds. Maybe I'll get the third round in here. So this particular set has 67 players in it, and so they suggest if you have over 100 to do 2 piles. So with 67, I just do 1. And they say to do it, just eyeball it. 8, it doesn't have to be exact, but my OCD won't let me do that. So I actually will, and usually I think with 67 it doesn't come out exact, but I'm not okay with just eyeballing it. So again, that's just me. Ventura, who won the first 2 tournaments, did make the cut in the last tournament at the San Diego Open, but he didn't make it to the TV round. Oh, yeah, I wanted to explain how I'm doing my points. So this is actually in the book in the directions, and what it is that it's kind of like points, kind of based loosely like on a money system. And so, like, if you win the tournament, you get 10 points. If you're second, you get 7 points. If you're third, you get 5 points. If you're in the top 10, you get 3 points. And if you make the TV round, you get 2 points. And they actually break it down to where the C and D golfers get, like a half a point or something like that. For me personally, what I'm doing is I am stopping at the TV round. So if you don't make it to the TV round, then you don't get any points. And so that keeps it simple for me. And it's working out really cool because I'm getting standings already. So, like, for example, Ventura, he won 2 tournaments, so he has 20 points so far. He didn't make it to the TV round in the 3rd tournament, so he's at 20. Arnold Palmer, he came into the 3rd tournament with 9 points because he was second once, made the TV round, so that gave him 9. And then he won this last tournament, which gives him 19. So he's a point away from Ken Venturi. So it's really cool. It's a simple way to kind of keep stats, and it's not getting into minutia where these guys, who, are 7B tournament ratings, where I'm really, unless they just get lucky and, get in, which can happen, which is really cool. But so for me, stopping at the TV round is working out really well. So I've got a Word document where I wish I was better at Excel, where it would automatically, move people around based on their total points, but I have to do it myself. But that's really cool. So I know, for example, Billy Casper is doing really well. Like in the San Diego Open, he tied for 3rd, and he had, I think, 10 points going into it. So that would give him 17. Christy O'Connor, he tied for 3rd, and so like Randolph, it was his first top 10 appearance, I believe. Burke, his first, so he was tied for 7th, so that'll give him 3 points. So anyway, that's kind of how I'm doing my leaderboards, and that's very addicting. It makes you want to get to the next tournament to see who wins and, how the points get up. I'm admittedly a stat nerd, especially with baseball. So, but again, if you get it to where it's minutia, where it's not really much fun, for me, it bogs down. So, with 67 players, keeping, points of the TV round and up is working out really well for me. So that's kind of how I'm doing it. But those directions are actually in the manual. So if you want to, yeah, I think we are too, John, which is okay. That's part of the fun is the stats. So again, seeing who gets wins this year so far. Again, Venturi has got 2, and Palmer got his first one. Casper's been right up there, in the top. So, it'll be fun to see how the season plays out. Again, I'm probably going to try to do 12, around 12 tournaments. So, but anyway, this is our fourth tournament. This will be the Arizona Open. Again, this course is closer to Tucson, but in between Tucson and Phoenix, as I looked on my map. So anyway, you break these up into 2 stacks, and then you do the ascending die. So I'll get my little bitty die out here. Get my dice tower. Get out my Stratomatic dice, which I'm still doing, by the way. I know a lot of people are missing the Stratomatic, and I'm doing it. It's just that, I think putting too many games, it just kind of waters it down a little. So I definitely am doing Strat, and, am going to get those on the table. So, but this, hey, P-Jet. Yeah, welcome. For me, golf is probably my second, well, not probably, it is my second favorite sport. Baseball is my main love. My second favorite sport is golf. And so I had ASG, and I had put it away for a while, was playing Action PC. Those of you who follow the channel know how I feel about cards and dice. Action PC golf is a wonderful game, and you can do a lot of things with it that you can't do with tabletop golf. But I got my ASG back out and started playing it and enjoyed it very much. And have been watching History Maker for a long time, and people playing on YouTube. A lot of people love this game, and after having got it and play it, I see why. It can be really addicting. So like I said, that's kind of, I'm in my golf mode right now. And so, hey, Brandon, welcome. It's going great. Beautiful Saturday morning here in the Midwest, and working on my 4th tournament. And so we're doing the first 2 rounds. Kind of, gave my synopsis of how my History Maker experience is going so far. So far, kind of addicting. I've had it a little over a week, and getting ready to start my 4th tournament. So that's really one cool thing about this game, is the sense of accomplishment. I mean, doing a tournament is a big deal, and when you get one done and it doesn't take 3 months, it kind of is like, it gives you that sense of accomplishment and motivation to start on the next one. So anyway, so we'll start. So you start with 8 piles here, and again, I have 67 golfers in this 1958 set. You have your tournament chart here, and so you just roll 2 die in ascending order, and then it gives you what you need to do to get who made the cut and who didn't, which is kind of an interesting process in and of itself. Hey, P-Jet. They do things that is completely different from other sims. Like History Maker is the only other play game I have, History Maker Baseball, and it does baseball way different than any other thing. And golf is the same way. Matter of fact, when I was looking at YouTube for videos about this before I purchased it, there were a lot of gamers, like war gamers. There was 2 or 3 who loved this game, even though they weren't sports gamers. And so that's it. The narrative and the way they do it is and especially this game, it's really amazing. It's genius, actually. How they represent a golf tournament, especially. If all they did was just hole by hole, I probably would prefer ASG. But with the tournament mode, in my mind, it puts it in a league all by itself. On the table, you can't really find anything like this, if you want to do a golf tournament. Hey, Steve Tower from After Further Review. Welcome. Um, I really appreciated your videos, especially that 3-hour long one. Before I purchased this game, I watched that, and very informative, and it was fun to see the process from start to finish. And so again, I'm working on my 4th tournament in about a week. So doing the 58th season, kind of addicting. So all right, so basically you just roll for each pile, and so we got a 56, and so you draw one golfer and then choose the top 5 remaining golfers. Yeah, the Betty Bear tournament. Yeah, it was great. Quality entertainment and informational as well. So you draw one card. So Ted Kroll, who hasn't made the TV round yet, will be number 1, and then we do the top 5 golfers, and then you use the rating here. So let's see who we got. Okay, so we don't got any big names in this one. So we got 1, 2, we set 5, 4, and that will be, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and when you have a tie, which I do, you pick both of them. So Claude Harmon's the only one who didn't make the cut. You got Jerry Barber, Mike Suchak, Lionel Hebert, John McMullen, Mike Crack, and Don Fairfield. So some guys made the cut who wouldn't normally. And again, that's kind of the luck of the draw. Like, you'll get a pile where only 1 or 2 golfers will make the cut, and you've got, 4 number 1s in there. And so, again, it's luck of the draw, which is, this part is almost as fun as the final round. All right, so pile number 2, we get a 34. And so we got draw 1 outstanding golfer. So Marty Fergol, who is not normally a good golfer, he gets outstanding, which means he gets in a pile by himself when you go to the 3rd round, which makes it more likely he will continue on to the TV round. And then we choose top 3 remaining golfers. So, see who we got here. Wow, another pile of not great golfers, so that'll be interesting to see. So we got 6, 7, so the top 3. So Walter Berkamo, Dave Marr, and Bill Collins will make the cut. Tony Lima, J.C. Goosey, Jim Ferry, Gabe Brewer, who actually had some good years later on, and Leo Biaghetti. I'm not for sure how to pronounce that, but so those guys missed the cut. All right, so pile number 3. So it's really nerve-wracking because I really want the good golfers in the TV round. Gary Player, Casper, Sam Snead, Hogan so far hasn't made the TV round yet, so I'm really hoping Hogan makes the TV round this time. That's a 13, so that's draw 2 golfers. Art Wall Jr. and Tom Newport, again a 7A, so not a great golfer, but he's playing well today. And then the top remaining golfer. So we got Rosberg. Okay, so we're going to lose a couple decent guys. Jimmy DeMeritt, who was a very good golfer toward the end of his career. He hasn't made the TV round yet either, and I've been really wanting him to, but he is not going to do it today. So Jack Burke Jr., who finished tied for 7th last turn at the San Diego Open, makes it. So Rosberg, DeMeritt, Don January, who again has some pretty good years later on, Dickinson, and DeVincenzo. He was a pretty good golfer. I think he's in the Hall of Fame toward the end of his career, but he actually was 2nd in the San Diego Open, but he will miss the cut this time. All right, pile number, what are we on, pile number 4 here? So we get a 14 this time. So we draw 3 golfers. Jay Hebert, Fred Haas, and Bill Bisdorf. So a couple 2s in there. And then the top remaining is going to be an outstanding. Okay, so Peter Thompson from Australia. Again, he was a D. Back then, the international wasn't quite as big as it was now. But as I said earlier, everybody makes every tournament. And again, it's really cool that that Pete, who made this, did that rating. So you can, if you want to be more accurate. This is going to be tough. Wow. So we got some really good golfers in here. Hogan's not going to make it again. Dad, burn it. I really want to see Hogan on some TV time. All right, so Palmer, who won the San Diego Open, is going to be an outstanding golfer. And unfortunately, that's the only top guy who makes it. So Peter Thompson, Hogan, Leonard, and Spalding, who's not that great a golfer, but we got 3 number ones. And Hogan doesn't make the TV round again. So, bummer. Hey, Brandon. I enjoy it when some random 4C gets in there and gets a top 5, and a 1B or a 1C gets beat all out of the dice. Love those underdogs. Yeah, that's a great part of this game is, again, how whoever came up with this tournament mode it's just genius. I mean, it's just really incredible, especially when you play it and kind of see how it rolls out, how things, fall out. It's just really genius. It's a lot of fun. But disappointing when you don't get to see Hogan. I want to see Hogan play some golf. Maybe the next one. All right, so pile number 5. Get a 34. So draw one outstanding golfer. So Bo Winninger, who made it to the TV round at the Bing Crosby. He will get there, and then the top 3 remaining golfers. So we got some 6s there. Okay, Christy O'Connor. So it looks like the top 3 would be Christy O'Connor with a 1A, George Bayer with a 3C, Ernie Vossler, who has had some TV time, will be there. So Weaver, Bill Johnston, Paul Harney, and Bob Golby. Harney had some TV time. Hey, Steeler fan, welcome. So, next pile. We still got Sam Snead, Billy Casper. Trying to think of the big names. Gary Player. Gary Player hasn't had a lot of TV time. So we got a 22, which is the top 2 golfers only. Okay, so Venturi and Casper. Oh, we got some good ones here. Fensterwall. So Barnum, Dave Reagan, Dave Thomas, Dutch Harrison, Tommy Bolt, who's a good golfer who hasn't had any TV time yet. Oh, and Sam Snead. So we got the top 2. So that's going to be Snead and Venturi, and Casper and Fensterwall is not going to make the cut this time. So Casper's actually had TV time all 3 tournaments. So, and Fensterwall's had 2. So got some good names. Missed that one. So Snead and Venturi are in. Casper and Fensterwall are out. All right, 2 piles left. So that's a 16. Oh, so you draw 5 golfers and then 1 top remaining. So, Gary Player's going to make it. Sweet. Howie Johnson, Frank Stranahan, Doug Sanders, and Gene Littler, who hasn't had any TV time yet. And then 1 remaining golfer, the top remaining golfer, and that will be Pete Cooper. So Maxwell and Ellis. Ellis has some TV time, I think, in the very beginning tournament at Thunderbird. All right, last pile. 34. You got 1 outstanding golfer that we draw. So Lloyd Mangrum. So he, again, a 6C. And then top 3 remaining golfers. So Julius Burrows probably be there. Doug Ford, perhaps. Okay, Mason Rudolph. So the top 3 is going to be Julius Burrows, Mason Rudolph, and Fred Hawkins. So Doug Ford and Tommy Jacobs miss the cut. So that's basically how you do the first 2 rounds. And there are ways to figure out scores for these if you want to get that crazy. The game itself recommends that you don't, because it can get bogged down. But if that's something that you would enjoy to do, then you have that option, and they have that in the instructions. So again, for me, I'm just keeping standings or points on those who make the TV round and above. That's working out for me. All right, so you take this pile. We'll go ahead and do round 3 here, and then maybe later I'll do the final round on the TV round. So the outstanding golfers, as I understand it, get their own pile. So which makes it, when you have an outstanding first 2 rounds, more likely that you'll make it to the 4th round unless you just implode. So that gets a pile in and of themselves. And then you also, at this point, you want to get out your letters. So this is everybody who is an A and a A- and above makes it to the TV round. And then B plus and B, they make it to their qualifying, but there's only like a slight chance that they make it. And I actually had Gary Player do that, which was really cool. He made it, and he ended up charging to where he ended up being 1 behind the leader at the 15th hole, and he only shot par from then on. So, but he did make the top 10 because of that. Yeah, there's a lot of great players in 1958, Brandon, and you're right. Sometimes, depending on how the stack shakes out, again, the randomness is but realistic randomness. You've got some players who make it just because you draw them, and then some players make it because they're good, and so it's genius. The tournament mode of this is just really, really well thought out. All right, so we'll shuffle these up the best I can and make 8 piles again. So far, I've ended up with, anywhere from 8 to 10 TV golfers. I know some are 8 to 12. I did have 12 in the second tournament. I think some people go ahead and, they'll pick some from the B or the B plus stack to get 12 TV golfers. Hey, RJL, welcome, buddy. Yep, just doing some golf here on a beautiful Saturday morning in the Midwest. Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day, by the way, to all you fathers. All right. So, again, my OCD won't let me just do a random pile, so I got to divvy them up properly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, Philip. Welcome, buddy. Let's see. Yeah, the outstanding designation is another brilliant feature, Brandon. Again, whoever designed this was really, really did a good job. Yeah, I lived in Indiana for a while in Shelbyville, Brandon, for a few years. Okay, so on your third round, you go to this side of the chart, and so you do some drawing, you do some talk golfers, you get the little symbol here, which means that you check them after the end of the round before you start the 4th round with some perks and issues, which is really interesting. Some of the things you get on this really makes the 4th round interesting. Like, for example, my last tournament at the San Diego Open, the top 2 golfers was Arnold Palmer and Sam Snead. Snead was 1 stroke behind Palmer, and so Arnold Palmer was allowed to drop 1 quality, so he dropped his Workman, and then Sam Snead wasn't allowed to get any blue chips during the round. And so, as you can imagine, that put Snead at a pretty big disadvantage. But again, it just, it's interesting because things like that happen in real life. And so, again, those game day perks are really fun. So let's put this down here so I can do my pile up on top. Yeah, RJL, I saw some of your videos doing History Maker again when I was researching it. Very well done. And I appreciate everybody who did the videos because I've been eyeballing this game for quite a while. Again, golf is my second favorite sport to baseball. And so I'm glad I picked it up. It's kind of addicting. I said I'm working on tournament number 4, and I've only had it a little over a week. So, all right. So let's do the third round here. So again, these are outstanding golfers. So we get a 36. The top golfer contends with A minus. So that's going to be Arnold Palmer. So it looks like he's in good shape for his, again, he won the San Diego Open, so he's got 1 win already this year. And then the low golfer finishes with a D minus, which, again, I don't keep the stats or the scores, for people below the TV round. That's just how I'm doing it. And then the others finish with a C minus. So there's Wininger. All right, so Arnold Palmer set up here with an A minus. Yeah, that's cool, Philip. So use my own player card. So you had your own created card and got a hole in one on the 16th at Augusta. Well, that's cool. All right, pile number 2. Get a 45. So draw golfer contends with an A minus. So Don Fairfield, and he got the lightning bolt. So I'm gonna keep track of who that is, so we can. So he got to do the game day perk for him when we get to that point. Move these up a little bit so I can get everybody in the pile. All right. Okay, and then the top, so we did a 45. The top golfer contends with an A. So that will be George Bayer. So this will be his first TV time in 4 tournaments. So he contends with an A. Others finish with a D+. So Stranahan and Sanders, not in the TV round. So again, he's a 3C, so that is cool. And then Fairfield's a 5C. And if he gets a good enough perk there, he may have a shot. So a 24. So the top golfer contends with an A. So Gary Player, awesome. He's had a couple TV times, but no really good chances, so he contends with an A, and he gets a perk. Others finish with a C+. So Cooper, Hawkins, Crack, and Marr all get a C+. All right. 56. So draw golfer contends with an A minus. So Jay Hebert gets an A minus. The others finish with a D. So who do we lose? Ernie Vossler, Howie Johnson, and Mason Rudolph. So they finish with a D. All right. Another 56. So draw golfer contends with an A minus. John McMullen, that'll be his first TV time. Everybody else finishes with a D. So, oh no, Venturi. he won the first 2 tournaments. He made the cut in the 3rd tournament, but didn't get to the TV, and finds himself here again. Lionel Hebert and Art Wall Jr. all finished with a D. So no points for Venturi this time. So let's give Arnold Palmer a chance. Like I said, right now in the points, Venturi has 20 and Palmer has 19. So looks like just making the TV round will put him at 1 point over Venturi. A 26. Draw golfer. Man, we're getting a lot of draw golfers here, so we're going to have some not your normal culprits. Draw golfer contends with an A-. So Julius Burrows gets an A-. Others finish with a B-. So Fred Haas, Suchak, Tom Nieport, and Gene Littler all finish with a B-. All right, 2 piles left. 24, top golfer contends with an A. Okay, so we got a tie, so that'll be Snead and O'Connor. And they both get the chip for something interesting to happen. Others finish with a C+. So Kroll and Berkamo all finish with a C+. And 1 more pile. So far we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 golfers. Get a 24 again. Top golfer contends with an A. So that's going to be Jack Burke. Contends with an A. Okay, yeah, these guys are A's, not A-. And so Jack Burke contends with an A. And he gets a perk. And Bill Bisdorf, Bill Collins, and Jerry Barber all finish with a C+. So we don't have any B+ and B, so there won't be any making a move at hole 15. Let's see, Brandon, I played a 12 tournament short season with the all-time greats, and at one point Venturi finished runner-up 3 tournaments in a row. He came in second in the final standings. Tom Watson won. Yeah, I definitely plan on doing something. I picked up the all-time greats too, as you can see there. So definitely plan on doing something with that as well, because that would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I plan on doing about 12, probably around 12 tournaments for this 58 replay. All right, so how many golfers we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now I try to have an even number. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Try to have an even number. So before we go, I will roll the perks and see what we get. I'll get my really fine score sheet. It does a good job of doing what I like it to do for this game. So we'll see what our perks are. Actually, I think I'll put this on the back because I don't have my list, how they're going to be lined up just yet. All right, so Gary Player got a perk. See what his perk is. So you roll 1 die. So we get a 1 and a 2. So he gains a choice quality. Now on the question mark, you can do till further notice. I'm just doing it per tournament. So when the tournament's over, everybody starts over from scratch. That's just kind of what I'm doing. So anyway, 1, 2, gain a choice quality. So Gary Player, let's see. I guess you can do like a full quality, not just a partial one. So, because he's got a lot of partial ones, so I think we'll give him the legend on the woods. So he's going to be good with the woods this time. All right, so that's Gary Player with he will be a legend. So we got Sam Snead. So this looks to be a good round. I mean, we got a good mixture of players, who aren't typically up in the top. And then we got the big guys like Palmer, Player, Snead. Again, I would really like for Hogan to get in one, but so far he's not been lucky. Christy O'Connor, good golfer. So we got some good golfers here that will be in the TV round. So Snead gets a 6 and a 3. So a 6 and a 3. He gains the lucky quality, which is very good. So what that means is that he always has a blue chip. So you can be kind of liberal in your usage of him because the next hole he gets another one. Hey, Brandon. Playing some season ticket baseball. Awesome. Reds and Cubs. Yeah, Sandberg was amazing in '84. Yeah, that's a fun matchup. So Snead with a lucky, so that's a good thing for him. So Christy O'Connor, see what he gets. He gets a 2 and a 4. 4 start round with red chips, so that's not going to be good. So he starts with 4 red chips, so that's not good at all. So he gets 4 red to start the tournament, or start the 4th round rather. All right, Jack Burke Jr. gets a 4, 3. Start the round with blue chips. So he starts the round with 6 blue chips. So how about that? That'll help Mr. Burke. Wow, I've never had anybody get 6 blue chips. So that's gonna help him out immensely. Oddly enough, we didn't have any A-plus golfers, so everybody's going to start at A. So we got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way tie for the lead. Well, probably we have to roll to see their 3-round score. All right, so Burke got a good one. So that just leaves Don Fairfield, and he gets a 4, 6. If bird on first hole, mood turns sunny. Otherwise stormy the rest of the round. So, again, very interesting. These really add a lot of flavor to the tournament, a lot of abstract things. So, a bird, sunny. If not, stormy. Very cool. So, what you do, the last thing you need to do before you go into the final round is to see what their scores are going into the 4th round. So I guess I'll go ahead and do that real quick, and then that'll be it. Yeah, I agree, Brandon. I mean, the word pictures, instead of the numbers, is definitely an interesting way to do it. It really adds. Again, they do sports games. When you pick up a play game, you're going to get something different than anybody else has done. And again, that the golf and the baseball, it just does things in a way that's different and very enjoyable. So, if you go to Wikipedia too, you can get the scores. So, at the Phoenix Open, the winning score was a 274. At the Tucson Open, it was a 265. So we'll split that in the middle and say 270 is the winning score. So when you do a 270, so this will give you their scores. So you do a decider die, and then so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A's, and then 5 A minuses. So, again, I'm going to have 10 golfers in my TV round, which is a good number for me. All right, so A on a 270 is going to be a 203 or a 204. And he gets a 204. So Bayer gets a 204. Player. So again, a 203 or a 204, and he gets a 203. So Gary Player is going to be in the lead. Sam Snead, one of my favorite players, is not a great putter, and that hurts him. He gets a 204, so he'll be a stroke off. O'Connor, the Irishman, gets a 204. And then last, you got Burke, 203 or 204, and he gets a 203. So Gary Player and Burke are leading the tournament with a 203. Bayer, Snead, and O'Connor are a stroke back at 204. So we got Arnold Palmer with a B minus, or an A minus rather. So that will be a 205 or a 206. 205 for Palmer, so he's 2 off the pace. Fairfield, again with an A minus, is a 205 or a 206. He gets a 206, so he's going to be 3 off the pace. Hebert gets a 205. McMullen, again, John McMullen, a new face in the TV round. 205 or 206, gets a 206. And lastly, Julius Burrows, 205 or 206, and he gets a 206. So, that's all you need to do. Yeah, again, getting those 6 chips, that's going to give Burke a huge advantage. So going into the final round here at the Arizona Open, Gary Player and Burke with his 6 chips are at 203. Bayer, Snead, and O'Connor come in at second, a stroke off at 204. Palmer and Hebert are at third at 205. Fairfield, McMullen, and Burrows come in at 206. So we got 10 guys in the TV round. Again, we have nobody with a B plus or a B, so there won't be anybody making a move when we get to the 15th hole. So probably what I will do is I for trying to broadcast it, I tend to wait till the last pairing get to the 9th hole, and then we kind of watch them play the last 9 holes. So I will try to do that. But we are all set up, ready for our fourth round. And as you can see, getting 3 of the 4 rounds done didn't take that long. I think I've been talking for about an hour here, but again, a lot of that was talking. So I mean, you can get the first 3 rounds done in about a half an hour, and then it takes, like I said, 2.5 hours to do the final round. But it's a lot of fun, and it's the kind of thing where you can, play part of it and then take a break and come back if you have a table, set up where you can leave it. So anyway, I just thought this morning I would share a little bit about what's going on with my History Maker Baseball. Love this game. Very well thought out and a lot of fun. A good mixture of getting a lot done, taking the players into consideration, getting a feel for the players and their abilities. And so, it's really well thought out, fun game, good user community to where you can pick up some seasons and some, courses like I did, where that, you can fill in the holes that play doesn't have available. And so again, this season and the course itself are user created. So those who may have missed it earlier, this is the only Arizona course I could find. Patrick Talbot created this. Very well done. So this will be my Arizona Open. And David Gray, again, who was instrumental in doing the 1960s set for the company, is the one who created the 58 season. And he has some other seasons as well. So, great user community. It says a lot about the game when people are motivated to create things for it as well. So when you find a game that has a lot of people creating extras, that lets you know that it's probably a good game, because people care enough about it to invest that kind of time to add to it and to make it better, to give you more options. And so that is another very good thing about History Maker Golf. So anyway, I really appreciate everybody stopping by this Saturday morning on a Father's Day weekend, U.S. Open weekend. Golf is the one sport that I do follow the modern game some, and so I have been watching that at the country club in Boston. So I'll be watching some golf this weekend. And again, I wish everybody who's a father a wonderful Father's Day and a great weekend. So yeah, thanks, Brandon. Thanks for stopping by. And again, I will try to get when Player and Burke get to the 10th hole, I'll probably try to broadcast it from then on, and hopefully we got a better finish than the San Diego Open. The San Diego Open, Palmer ran away with it, so when I got to that point, he was ahead by 5 or 6 strokes. He did bogey, I think 10 and 11 at Torrey Pine South, and so but nobody else really, took advantage of it. So Palmer won the last tournament by a good margin. So anyway, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.